Battlefield 6 Weapon Tier List by George Gill. The basis means that tiers are built from stats like time to kill, recoil, damage model, range performance, attachment setups, and overall versatility for average players, not just pros. The structure line explains that weapons are grouped by class: ARs, carbines, SMGs, DMRs, LMGs, shotguns, snipers, pistols, and then placed into S, A, B, C, D, and F tiers, each with commentary on why they sit there. The AK-4D is described as an S tier, absolute best assault rifle that hits extremely hard, with a 3-shot kill potential out to around 20 meters and a reliable 4-shot kill at most other ranges. It has a slow rate of fire but very low recoil and excellent accuracy, especially in semi-auto, which lets it compete with DMRs and makes it feel great for mid to long-range gunfights if you play a bit more methodically instead of constantly rushing. The M4A1, which is a super versatile high fire rate assault rifle. It has a very strong time to kill at most ranges, though it does start to suffer from bloom and needs 6 to 7 shots once you get past about 20 meters. The gun is usable on every class without really losing effectiveness, which makes it a meta-defining pick. It's ranked at the bottom of S tier, but still considered strong in nearly any situation, so it's a safe all-rounder to build around. The M433 is listed as an A tier assault rifle that's just a really solid all-rounder. It competes with options like the SG553 and QBZ and performs very well at close to medium range, making it a dependable primary if you like flexible engagements. Its main drawback is that it falls off pretty hard at long range and can get a bit sketchy with recoil, which is what keeps it out of S-tier status even though it's still very strong in most normal fights. The TR7 is portrayed as a super high-risk, high-reward assault rifle. It shares the same 3-shot kill range as the AK-4D, up to around 20 meters, and can hit some of the fastest potential time-to-kill numbers in the game if it's built right. The catch is its very high rate of fire, tiny 20-round magazine, and brutal recoil, which make it really unforgiving and not friendly for newer players. If you put the time in and master it, it's described as a top of A level gun, but still too inconsistent to be a true S-tier option for most people. The GRTBC is a carbine/rifle hybrid that hits really hard and becomes super effective once you get comfortable with it. Its main quirk is the leftward recoil pattern, so you have to pull down and to the right to keep it under control, but once that muscle memory clicks, the gun can perform at a very high level without many other drawbacks. The B36 G36 is labeled as a B-tier assault rifle that's basically the definition of middle of the road. It does everything pretty well but doesn't really stand out in any one area, so it's fine but not exciting. The gun has a moderate fire rate and accuracy, and actually feels a bit more comfortable at longer ranges than up close, mostly because of its slower rate of fire. Most fights end up taking around 5 bullets to down someone, which holds its time to kill back compared to the stronger rifles. The L85 is described as a very average, all-rounder assault rifle that plays a lot like the B36, just way less effective, which is why it sits at the bottom of B tier. It's still a decent choice if you want something moderately good and comfy to use without feeling like you're running an overtuned metagun, but it doesn't really excel in any one area. The M417 is presented as a solid B-tier rifle that shares the same damage model and roughly 654 rate of fire as the NVO, but with better precision, less bloom, and generally higher accuracy. Its main downside is a reduced ammo capacity, which means you have to be a bit more careful with your shots and reloads. Even with that drawback, it's still considered a reliable pick that outperforms the NVO overall. The QBZ is portrayed as the definition of a just-there assault rifle. It has a fast rate of fire and is reasonably accurate, but it doesn't have any real standout traits that push it into the top meta. It is a bit more accurate at range than the B36 and L85, which helps it feel nicer in longer gunfights, yet it's still basically a high B-tier generalist pick rather than a go-to powerhouse. The M277 is highlighted as a top-tier carbine and is described as incredibly consistent. It can secure a 4-shot kill at all ranges while keeping a fast fire rate, so it feels reliable whether you're taking close, mid, or long-range fights. Bloom only really becomes a problem at extreme distances, meaning most normal engagements feel smooth and predictable. Because of that overall performance, it's often called the best carbine in the game, widely liked by players, and even noted as the creator's personal favorite. The M4A1 is summed up as an S-tier primary weapon. It earns that spot because it works well across multiple classes and has a high rate of fire, which keeps its time to kill competitive, even though it suffers from bloom and weaker damage at longer ranges. In short, it's flexible, fast-firing, and strong enough that those drawbacks don't stop it from being a top pick. The SCW is rated as an S-tier, absolute best SMG. It's described as a triple S, borderline broken gun that's one of the most sought-after SMGs in the game because it shoots extremely straight and dominates at almost any realistic SMG range. You barely have to work for your kills with it, and it only really starts to feel weak at very long distances, where most SMGs struggle anyway. The SGX is listed as a high A-tier SMG that sits above the GRT and works as a super reliable all-rounder. It performs really well at close and medium ranges, but it can also hang at longer distances better than most SMGs. With its high fire rate, zero bloom, and top-tier mobility, you can aggressively strafe while aiming down sights and even take on snipers across the map, which makes it feel very strong and fun to use. The M44 is rated as the only S-tier pistol. It hits insanely hard, capable of a two-shot kill even at long distances, and a one-shot headshot with hollow points out to around 15 to 20 meters. When you pair it with a short barrel, its hipfire becomes very consistent, so it's dangerous both up close and at range. Because of that mix of power and versatility, it's basically described as the one pistol to rule them all. The 357 sits in the A tier for pistols. It can two-shot up close with a really strong sweet spot under about 10 meters, but its damage falls off hard once you move past that range. At mid-range, it often needs around 4 shots to finish a kill, so it's not as scary as the M44 overall. Even so, it's still considered an A-tier sidearm, near the bottom of A when you compare it to all guns, but a high A-tier pick when looking just at pistols. The 1911 is solid but slightly weaker alternative to the 357 trait. It shares a similar damage model but usually needs 3 shots to kill up close, out to around 15 to 20 meters, then 4 to 6 bullets beyond that, so it lacks the trait's 2-shot punch. Because it can't 2-shot, it's ranked a bit lower overall, yet it's still strong enough that a good player could realistically run it as a primary and top the scoreboard with it. The SVK is rated as an S-tier, DMR-like weapon that basically behaves like a sniper rifle. It can 2-shot kill at any range, and with up to a 10x scope and no glint, it lets you pick off enemy snipers from across the map without being easily spotted. If you run hollow points and fight within roughly 20 to 30 meters, it turns into a one-shot body kill monster, acting like a close-range sniper with faster ADS and quick semi-auto follow-up shots. The SVDM is presented as the only true A-tier DMR in this list. By default, it's a 3-shot kill, but if you equip hollow points and play at closer ranges, it can drop enemies in just 2 shots while working well with red dot optics. It's also described as the only gun that really feels like a classic DMR, with a moderate fire rate, manageable recoil, and enough versatility to take fights across a wide range of distances. The DRS is one of the top LMGs. It's rated S-tier and slotted above the AK-4D, but still a bit below the SVK overall. The gun basically feels like an assault rifle with laser beam recoil, strong performance at multiple ranges, and the flexibility to work on most classes except recon. The only potential balance concern mentioned is that it might deserve a tiny recoil nerf, but its versatility across roles keeps it from feeling outright broken. The M240L is described as the best true LMG if you set the DRS aside. It sits in high A tier above most other LMGs and is strong at close, medium, and long range thanks to its 600 RPM fire rate and high damage, even though it only has a 50-round belt. Its time to kill and precision feel better in actual gameplay than the raw stats would make you think, so it ends up being especially deadly once you're taking fights at around 20 meters and beyond. The M87 pump-action shotgun, which is labeled as the best shotgun in the game and placed in the S tier. It's super versatile. You can run slugs to basically turn it into a pseudo-sniper, or stick with pellets for very consistent, close-range, one-pump potential. With slugs, it can secure 2-shot kills even at very long ranges, and even without them it stays more consistent than the other shotguns, so it's kind of the go-to shotgun pick for most situations. The M1014 semi-auto shotgun is a high A-tier pick that sits just below the M87. It's basically a less consistent pump that trades some one-shot reliability for the ability to fire twice very quickly. In practice, it usually takes 2 shots to secure a kill and only occasionally lands a one-shot, and that's only if the target is inside a tighter ideal range window. The Saiga, which is rated as a B-tier shotgun, is a fun middle-of-the-road option that reliably 2 shots and has a better fire rate and damage model than the weaker automatic shotguns. Because it lets you spam shots as fast as you can click, it feels great for aggressive play, but the lack of true one-shot potential means its ceiling is lower than the pump-action options. The Mini Scout is rated as an S-tier sniper and called the best sniper in the game even after nerfs. It has extremely high mobility, the fastest practical rate of fire among the snipers, and the best muzzle velocity, so leading shots is easy and headshots feel almost effortless if your aim is on point. All of that makes it the go-to pick for aggressive, high-skill sniping. The M2010 ESR Sniper is placed right alongside the Mini Scout and is almost identical in performance, just a bit slower and missing the ADS bolt by default. In practice, that means it's still a top-tier sniper that feels very similar to the Mini Scout, but slightly less snappy and aggressive out of the box. For beginners, guns like the AK-4D, B36, Cord, M4A1, SGX, MP5, M240L, and M250 are recommended because their low recoil or forgiving damage profiles make them easy to use. If you want high-skill ceiling weapons, options like the TR7, SVK, SG553, M277, EMR with hollow points, and SV98 reward tight recoil control, consistent headshots, and good sense of engagement ranges. Finally, for flexible roles that work across multiple classes and maps, the M4A1, SG553, DRS, M277, and RPK are great adaptable picks.